We're Stephen and Mags, and together with our 3 kids, Louis, Neve and Oliver, we're starting out on the biggest adventure of our lives, swapping city life for an off-grid homestead. After years of dreaming about making a change, we sold our house in the UK, packed up all our belongings and made the 1,500-mile trip to southern Spain, with the hopes of creating the dream family home and a new life in the sun. Follow our story from the very beginning as we begin the journey of creating our off-grid home.
Hi everyone, so we're back, but before we start on today's jobs, I'm going to start getting tea ready for tonight so that when we finish we've got something nice and hot to eat when we come in and we don't have to go through the effort of cooking when we're finished. So what I'm making today, you might have heard of it, you might not have, it's called scouse. So a bit like beef stew, beef hot pot, but people in Liverpool are referred to as being scousers, and the local dish is scouse. It's really famous. Every good Liverpool household will know how to make scouse. So it's beef, carrots, turnips, leeks or onions depending on your preference, put in a pot and boiled up into a really lovely stew. We'll show you that at the end when it's finished. I'm going to crack on making this, and then after we finish this we're going outside. We've got a new strimmer. It's a 4-in-1 or 7-in-1 or something. Our plan is that once we've cut them down, trimmed it up, made it look nice and tidy, we're going to use all the materials that we've cut down and shred them and create some mulch for the garden area, which is coming on great, and I'll show you that in a minute as well. So I'm just going to save all the scraps so far. I'm going to put them on the compost pile. When we get chickens, when Max wants chickens, don't you?
Yeah, or worms.
Oh yeah, all worms. Now the new thing is a worm farm, as well as bees, as well as having chickens and goats. Yeah, so when we get all them, we'll have someone to feed the scraps to. We'll then create compost for us, or manure. But until then, we want to put them on the compost pile. So we've got about 600 grams of stewing beef. If you don't want to use beef and you want a vegetarian option, in my opinion it wouldn't taste the same. But if you wanted the vegetarian option, then leave the beef out and put something else in instead. If you leave the beef out and there's no meat in it, it's actually called blind scouse. That's what we call it when you do it without meat. So, heated the water up already. I'll put that in. After that, you can use some stock or something like that. We've got OXO cubes. If you get OXO cubes where you are, then great. I'm going to use beef OXO cubes. There you go. Little tip: if you squeeze the cube inside the packet, it's meant to turn to dust inside it like that. Then you don't end up with all of your fingers like I did the first one. But I always forgot to do it. So that's the stock and the beef gone in there. And now what we need to do is start adding the vegetables and the herbs. So by the way, herbs, we've got some little bit of coriander. There's no measurements for this, I can just do it by eye. Bay leaves. Put 2 decent sized bay leaves in. Bring that heat back up to the boiler then. That one. And this one, we've got thyme. There you go. People generally in Liverpool have all their own way of doing it, or things they put in. Some people don't put anything in and just the vegetables themselves. Pepper. Oh, I'll rub it up a little. A bit of salt. And now the vegetables. So we've got leeks, carrots, potatoes, and turn up. Now, if we were at home in Liverpool, we'd use swede, but they don't have swede where we live, so we've got this white turn up. It's not quite the same, but it's good enough. And then all I want to do once I've added all these is leave it, bring it to the boil. Once it's been boiling for a few minutes, then lower it down to the lower setting, let it simmer for a couple of hours, and then turn it off, let it stand, and then when it comes time for tea time, you can just reheat it again, bring it back to the boil, and it's ready to serve. We normally serve it with beetroot. Some people like cabbage with it, but in our house, the kids, everybody likes beetroot with it, and it's not the same otherwise. So, yeah, and the reason we do such a big pan is because we'll freeze what's left, if there's enough left, because normally the kids ask for seconds. So, nearly done. I'll leave that there, and then meet you back outside for the garden, I'll just carry on.
So since Steve can't cope on his own, we're going to tackle this together this week. Now I'm back. This is the strimmer. It is in a million pieces, so...
What she means is that she's my patient, because I've got none.
What's handy little gadget? Oh, well, these will fit you. I've got no chance. Come in.
Instructions.
That'll be my department then.
Yeah. Go on, boss, what's first? That's why I've got no patience. That's why I can't cope when you have to put stuff together when it comes to instructions looking like that. Yeah, right. See you tomorrow, Max.
So while I'm normally the instruction person, this might have to be handed over to Steve because it's all in Spanish, and Steve's the one that speaks the most Spanish and understands the most Spanish of the two of us, so he might be on his own for this one.
Things to buy before using the machine. Before starting to use the machine, you will have to buy a few things in order to use it, depending on the area of work that you're planning to use it on. Need oil. I bought the oil, is that the 2-stroke one?
This is the 2-2.
Yeah, okay, 2-stroke. And gasoline, well, we've got gasoline,
yeah.
That's okay. Just put it by the motor with 4 screws. Max is telling to follow instructions. We got it working. So now I'm off to go and try some of the weeds and see how good it does. We've just stopped for a minute because we had the strimmer attachment on it and it wasn't strong enough for some of the thick branches that are down there, so we swapped it for this blade instead, which is one of the other attachments. There's about 4 or 5 different blades we've got. So in the instructions it says we can try this one for thicker ones, and I also stopped because I need pants. I had a visor on, headphones on, a visor on, but no pants on, and all the little stones are all whacking me in the legs. So I went in, found a pair of pants, going back out, and I put the headphones back on, the mask back on, and go and have a try and see what this blade's like and see if it'll get through any of the thicker stuff that we've got down there. Go further in into the bushes. What's up, Max?
Remember when the silence grew so big it pushed the whole street through the sky? The ground beneath us caved in every time. So God, hear you cry. All our cowards curling up in smoke like a flame into the night. We didn't mean the stuff we said in bed that broke the lie.
We didn't get to film much more after this point because we spent so much time changing blades and trying out all the different attachments on it while we practice in this little area of the garden, which is the area that we eventually want to clear completely. There we go, Scouse for tea. Nice to walk into a hot meal after being outside all day. Well, we had a little play about with the strimmer on the piece of land that was down there. We've tried out all the different attachments on it. It seems to be vibrating really strongly for some reason, and we can't get to the bottom of it. So we've tried all the different attachments. We've done a little bit of the land down there. And then we went in and had Scouse, which was lovely, by the way. Everyone had seconds, well, the kids had seconds. And now today we're on the weekend and we're back out again and we're trying a different attachment on the multi-tool, strimmer, chopper, whatever it is. And we've got the chainsaw attachment on it to try and tackle some of the biggest leaves on the palm trees. So I'll show you what they look like. So this is what I've been doing this morning. I've got the attachment working on it and then started taking off some of these big ones which were almost down to the ground, like them ones over there. It's making short work of it, it's cutting through it. There's loads to go though. This one has got loads of baby trees coming off the back of it all the way around it and all around the front, so they all need to be taken right down, and then just some of the longest ones on the top. And the same on that one, it's got all baby trees around it and then big massive long ones at the top there. Never mind the washing on the line, but if you look over here, we used some of the leaves and put them around the chicken wire fence that we made to screen it in and make a fence. So we're going to use some of the branches for that, some of the smaller ones, and then the rest of them will go round onto the brush compost pile area around the back of the barn. And then when we get a chipper, we're going to chip that. There's already a pile started over there and some of the other stuff that we're going to chip. But this is the multi-tool we bought. It's Kapota. I've got to say, I'm not a lover. The same as the rotavator. They're both petrol. One's 2-stroke, which is this one. That's 4-stroke. But I'm not a lover of petrol machinery. I don't know, it just seems different to what I've used before. Seems like it needs a lot of care. You've got to mix the right amount of oil and petrol together to use them. So I'm not completely sold on it yet. I'm sure I will be once I get used to using it. So I'm going to crack on, try and get some more of this one done, remove some of the branches, and then see if we can get some of that one done. We're not going to get it all done in one day because there's too much debris afterwards to deal with. So I want to take it little by little, and then eventually we'll get them all pruned, looking nice, and a bit better than it is now. Let's crack on. see the mountains now. So cut a bit more down from this side, and I think that's as much as I want to do on this tree for today. Some of these will eventually need thinning out or shortening or something later on. I'm not going to do it now. I'm going to deal with the rest of the pile here and then move on to something else for today. So I forgot to mention, we've also done the bottom part of the pine tree too. So now we're getting to work on moving all the pine branches. We're going to start a pile over there where we're going to start shredding them. This pile of branches and a pile of branches at the bottom there, and then hopefully they'll all be in one place and the place will look a bit neater than it was before. We're just finishing up. Just got rid of all the piles. That's cleared as best we can underneath the tree. And then we've got a humongous pile now of palm leaves, pine needles, branches. So we definitely need to hire a chipper. Come and take care of that. And that's only off one tree. So we've still got these to prune, the pomegranate trees, the orange and the apple trees to prune, and then the other pine tree there. What we were really aiming for was to try and get some of them pine nuts off, but they're still just out of reach a little bit, so we need to get a ladder and then be able to chop some down. But yeah, we're making progress, it's getting there.
So that's it, that's all our jobs done for this video. Don't forget, if you enjoyed it, like, subscribe, leave a comment, we really appreciate it, and we'll see you in the next one.